Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
This podcast is brought to you by Lux Wines, importer of fine wines, bringing you exceptional wines from esteemed winemaking families: Allegrini, Argiano, Yerman, Piero Pan, Poggio al Tesoro, Renato Ratti, and Tornatore. Find out more at luxwines.com.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast with me, Monty Waldin. My guest today is Bernardino Sani. Bernardino is the CEO of the Argiano winery in Montalcino. Welcome, Bernardino.
Thank you very much, Monty. Hi, everybody, and I'm super happy to be here and to speak a little bit with you about wine in general.
We're glad to have you here. Now, Argiano is an estate, obviously, I know well, some people won't know this, but I did some work with them a few years ago on organic, so I put that one on the table straight away. And now, a lot of changes have gone on recently, and since Bernardino has been there, what have been the most exciting moments for you so far at Argiano?
So let me start saying that I feel so lucky to be in Argiano because it's one of the most fascinating place in the countryside of Tuscany. I'm a local. I was born in Siena, and I always looked at Argiano as one of the most beautiful property and building in the area. Since 2012, we developed so many new projects. We started with a different approach in the vineyards, as you mentioned, and then we started a micro mapping project on the vineyards. We tried to make a very historical and traditional Brunello, so we changed something in the cellar. We did a new underground cellar. We did start the restoration of the villa. That's a huge project that is still going on. Yeah,
that's going on at the moment, isn't it?
That is a headache also.
Yeah, I'm sure. But what you're talking about, Argiano already had a very good reputation, and what I think you're talking about is you're making what a sportsman would call, and what I've referred to before, is these marginal gains, these little changes, a little change to the winemaking, a little change to the barrel aging, a little change to the cellar, maybe the cellar temperature, a little changes to the pruning and the work in the vineyard in general. All these little changes have made a big difference to the wine. So in your view, how have the wines changed over the last few years in terms of palate weight and in terms of fruit expression?
So we tried to make wines, especially on Brunello and Rosso di Montalcino, that are the mostly true to the terroir possible, and we tried to make wines with very clear and clean noses, fruity noses. That is something that I love in the Sangiovese, especially when it's young. And then with the use of the wood, we try to be very light, so very gentle, not to have wines that are too much woody or oaky, and vertical wines. So we work on the acidity of the wines, higher acidities.
So in terms of the aging, we're going a bit backwards in terms of doing the winemaking and then the viticulture, but this will make sense. We're carrying on with the winemaking. So what changes have you made in terms of the choice of wood and the age of wood for aging the Brunello?
We did in 2014 a new underground cellar to have enough space to order new big oak barrels. So we started with 5,000, 3,000, 1,000 liters Slavonian oak barrels for the aging of the Sangiovese. Mostly the Brunello di Montalcino and the Rosso di Montalcino are aged in big oak barrels, so less barrique and more big oak for the Brunello and Rosso.
So instead of wood that's in hundreds of liters, you're talking about thousands of liters. So this is you're getting a slower aging with less loss of fruit.
Yeah, that's the idea. Then of course we have to start with a great quality in the grapes, and we have to start with a nice high acidity in order to make wines that can age in a very good way, and wines that are very nice fruity expression of Sangiovese.
Okay, I was in your vineyards recently. I didn't see you that day, Bernardino, but I saw the vineyard manager Francesco Monari, and I saw in your vines, they weren't like beehives, but they were bees' nests, like colonies of bees. Why are the bees, and they're there voluntarily, they're not like you've gone to the bee shop and stuck a load of bees in a vineyard because they know that a journalist has walked past. Why are these bees finding Argiano such a nice place to come and visit these days?
So thanks to you and a few other great mentors that we had in the past, Francesco developed these ideas of making of Argiano the most biodiversity terroir possible. And he started in 2012 to work organically and toward the soil in different ways, to ban the use of chemical fertilizers and, most important, chemical pesticides. So little by little we had the insect coming back, and we are happy to say that last year we made the first little production of honey from the vineyards, only 3 cans, so it's a very small production, but we are very happy about that, because the more little animals we attract in the vineyards, the best it is for all of us and for the wine, of course.
So one of the things that, I mean, he's not here, the vineyard manager Francesco Monari told me, and obviously he's told you, I'll try and explain it in a simple way as possible. If you plough a vineyard all the time to get rid of the weeds, what you're doing is you're creating erosion and you're compacting the soil as well by putting a big tractor in. But what Francesco says is you're oxidizing the soil. So if you think about it, you're opening the soil up and putting oxygen in there. You think, well, that must be a good idea. Well, in his view, so if you do that, because we are in a hot climate in Montalcino, and that's what gives Montalcino its power, this hot microclimate, is that you're oxidizing the soil, and because Brunello needs to spend at least 24 months in wood, which is a porous container, which is oxidative, he's saying, hang on, we're oxidizing our vineyards and then we're oxidizing our wines. We can't avoid the oxidizing process of the aging because it's in the disciplinari, the rules. What we don't want to do is oxidize our vineyards, because that will make the oxidation in barrel less strong and will make a wine that's less ageable and will suffer earlier degradation and aging, premature aging. And the way that he's explained, I hope I've explained it properly, is a really, really coherent way. And I think anybody, I have no link with Argiano now, this kind of approach I think is definitely the future. And what he's doing in the vineyard and what was happening in the winemaking is coherent. It's really coherent, and you're making a Brunello that really can age for the long term with plenty of fruit. Have I got that right?
I think I couldn't explain in a better way.
Okay, I haven't seen Bernardino for ages, by the way. It's not like this is me talking from me, and this is no one's told me to say this. Now, let's talk about Montalcino in general. What are the main markets for Montalcino wines, particularly for Brunello in general? And what are the main markets for Argiano in particular?
So I think Argiano respects pretty well the situation of Montalcino in general. North American market is still the most important market for all the big reds of Italy, I would say, for Barolo, for Brunello, and for Amarone. Beside that, I'm happy to say that Brunello, especially the good Brunellos and the one that are true to the terroir, are developing and expanding even in Asia, where they're getting very, very popular. And of course, Europe remain a big domestic market. We have some, especially in terms of tasting, we have some of specialists in Brunello, even not only in Italy but also in North Europe, in UK, and there you get a lot of satisfaction, because there you deal with people that knows about the wines and are able to judge the vintages, the difference between the vintages. But the most exciting situation is for sure with the new younger consumer that are so happy to discover something about us, about our history, about our winemaking style, that is making very exciting our job right now.
Sure. What about in terms of, I mean, Montalcino in general is a mecca for wine geeks, wine lovers, wine importers, whatever. It's full of people all of the time. What kind of visitors do you get? Italian visitors, not the foreign, I don't know about the Italian one. We always ignore the Italians. I mean, Italian tourists, do they come to Argiano to visit? Are they curious, or do they just think, oh no, it's too expensive? Or what's the demographic that comes to visit the estate?
We, as Argiano, as me personally, we try to go back to be popular in Italy, because I think the most important thing for a brand and for a winery is to be popular among your own public.
In your home market.
You cannot be successful outside if you're not in your own market. So we are trying to attract the most possible people in Argiano, and we are happy to receive everybody. We are happy to receive everybody, to explain how we are working, why we are working in a certain way, and to show the beautiful of the place. Italian visitors are usually a little bit more spoiled, because of course if you live in Siena, you can go in 10 minutes to Chianti Classico, or you go Radda, Gaiole, Castellina, then you go south and you go Montepulciano, then Montalcino. So you're spoiled in a certain way, but I can say that everybody that is coming to Montalcino and have the possibility of visiting Argiano, at least for the beauty of the place, they say wow.
Yeah, it is a beautiful, and it's the largest, Montalcino is the largest comune or commune in the province of Siena. I mean, it's huge, and it's also, little statistic, it's got more forest now than it did in the 1800s.
Wow,
in terms of biodiversity, yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, and just say Argiano is organic, and I think about 1 in 5 estates now in Montalcino is organic and biodynamic. Now, where do you see the future in terms of sales avenues for Argiano, either in terms of international markets or the way that you're promoting yourself, either online or in other ways? You talk about people physically coming to Argiano. What are you doing online, for example?
Well, that's a completely new thing for us. I have to say that we didn't put so much attention in the past to that kind of methods, but now it's becoming more and more important. I think it's even more important than the traditional way of communicating with people. I have a 14 years old boy, and I see him exploring the things on internet, going on with the phone to see video, to check things. So I think that for the future we definitely need to find a way to communicate properly and to use properly the so-called social media, because sometimes if you use them just to make photos and to show yourself, that's not the right thing.
Okay, final question. You're having dinner with your wife, bottle of Brunello on the table. What is your favourite food match? And what is your wife's favourite food match? Because it might not be the same as yours.
Wow, that's a great question. So my wife has a great palate for Brunello, despite that she's coming from Dominican Republic. She loves to have Livornese cod fish, that is cod fish but cooked in a particular way with a lot of sauce and tomato sauce, and there she likes to have a red wine. If you have an elegant Brunello like the one we're trying to make right now in Argiano with a nice acidity, that matches very well. Me, I'm more traditional. I go for meat and I remain with a big steak and a good bottle of red wine. But in Brunello, especially the Brunello that I like, that is vertical with a higher acidity, I think tagliatelle with nice ragu sauce, bolognese sauce are still one of the best match.
Okay, so ragu with pomodoro, with tomato or not? Or
not. The white one.
Yeah,
the light one.
Yeah, that's the lighter one, the one with no tomato.
Or a little bit.
Yeah, you're in good shape anyway.
Thank you very much.
So obviously you're eating a lot of ragu, but not with...
you see?
You're doing maybe
of pancetta.
Okay, I just want to say thanks to my guest today, Bernardo Sani, who's the big cheese at the Argiano, or Tenuta di Argiano winery in the southern part of Montalcino. It's a very distinctive building. It's probably one of the biggest buildings, it's certainly the biggest building in that particular area. It's a beautiful estate. I'm a little bit biased because I've got a connection with it, but I've put that on the table. And I'm really glad that you guys are moving in the direction that you're moving in. I'm so happy for you, and I'm happy for your insects and birds and bees, and I'm very happy for the bees in those, literally they are beehives, natural beehives that the bees created in your vineyard, in your vines. That's a very rare thing to see, and that for me is a great indicator of a winery that really is working with nature. You can't literally go on Amazon and buy bees and stick them in a vineyard. It doesn't work like that. So it's a fantastic sign. Well done to Francesco Monari if he's listening to this. He's doing a great job. And well done to you, Bernardino, for keeping the team in place and doing what you do.
Thank you so much, Monty.
All right, no worries.
Pleasure. Thank
no
you
worries.
very
Good
much.
to see you.
Grazie. Grazie.
Take it easy.
Ciao.
Ciao.
This podcast has been brought to you by Lux Wines, importer of fine wines, bringing you exceptional wines from esteemed winemaking families: Allegrini, Argiano, Ierman, Piero Pan, Poggio al Tesoro, Renato Ratti, and Tornatore. Find out more at luxwines.com.
Follow Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.